Hi friends, in the last class we have worked out second problem. Today I am going to take out one more problem where we have been discussing that the where application of three test, okay, with three test problem. Perot Limited, a non-listed company. You know the difference between listed company and non-listed company. One of my previous classes I have explained you only the thing. The difference is that SEBI guidelines are applicable. SEBI guidelines are applicable for, as I told you, to listed companies, where SEBI guidelines are not applicable for non-listed company. I think if you look into it, I have told you that in the chart which I have explained you, we are having the rules are common. Only the difference is that SEBI guidelines are applicable. I told you applicable to private limited companies, unlisted companies, section 68, 69, 70 of the Companies Act, rule 17 of the Companies Act, share capital and debentures rules 2014. The same is applicable for listed companies also, only except is that SEBI buyback securities regulations is applicable. So that is what the difference. So but as far as the accounting is concerned, so we have been following the same procedure which we have discussed in the previous class. For I told you, I made a statement that this problem is also about with three tests. Without three tests we have done two problems. With the three tests we will be doing one more problem. With that we will be completing two problems with the three tests also. So I have made already announcement. Let us see, sir, how you have made announcement that three tests are applicable for this particular problem. Perot Limited Company, a non-listed company, has the following capital structure as on 31st March 2011. Particulars: equity share capital, shares of rupees 10 each, fully paid 330 in crores. Reserves and surplus has been mentioned. General reserve 240, security premium, P&L account. You know that these three reserves comes under the category of, these three reserves will come under the category of what is it called as free reserves. Okay, so infrastructure development reserve and loan funds. The shareholders of Perot Limited, on the recommendation of their board directors, have approved on 12th September 2011 a proposal to buy back the maximum permissible number of equity shares, considering the large surplus funds available for disposal of company. They are saying that on the recommendation of their board have approved a proposal to buy back the maximum permissible. We don't know, last class at least 25,000 shares they have decided to buy, but here it is missing. Maximum permissible number of equity shares, considering the large surplus funds available at the disposal of company. That means they got enough funds for making the payment. The prevailing market value of the company share is 25 rupees per share, and in order to induce the existing shareholders to offer their shares for buyback, it was decided to offer a price 20% over market price. So 25 rupees is the market value, no? On that 20%, 25 rupees on the 20% means here offer price for buyback is equal to 25 rupees market value plus 20% over market value. It is 25 plus 5 rupees. 30 rupees is offer price. That means 25 rupees per share to induce the existing shareholder to offer their share for buyback. It was decided to offer a price of 20% over market value. Say 25 rupees market value. So in order to induce the existing shareholders for buyback, they said, okay, market value 25, no? We are going to pay 20% more than market value. So they are happy. Instead of getting 25, they are getting 30 rupees now. So now the difference Premium on buyback is nothing but difference between face value. What is face value here? 10 rupees is the face value. And now what is the offer price for buyback? 30. Difference is 20. You are also informed that the infrastructure development reserve is created to satisfy income tax act requirements. Okay. You are required to compute the maximum number of shares that can be bought back in the light of above information, and also under a situation where the loan funds company were either 1200 crores or 1500 crores. So already we got loan funds of 1800. He is saying what is the maximum number of shares if loan funds are going to be either 1200 crores or 1500 crores. That means we need to have three situations. 1800 crores is given in the problem, and he is saying that everything same. If loan funds are 1200 crores, what is going to be the maximum number of shares to be purchased? If loan funds are 1500 crores, that means three different situations he has taken just for a practice sake. See, if in this problem, if loan funds are 1800 crores, what is the maximum number of shares that can be bought back? This is loan funds are important for debt equity ratio test, no? The third test we talk about. So, for that particular purpose, loan funds are important. Loan funds 1800 crores. If loan funds are 1200 crores, what is the maximum possible maximum number of shares that is to be bought? If loan funds are 1500 crores, what is the maximum number of shares that is to be bought? Okay. And then one more thing, as I told you, free reserves means here this infrastructure development reserve is created to satisfy income tax act requirement. He is saying that, but here free reserves means we are talking about these three reserves: general reserve, security premium, and profit and loss account. Okay. So now we start working out the problem. You are required, assuming that entire buyback is completed 9th December, show the accounting entries in the company's books for in each situation is asking. So let me take you to the problem now. As I told you, maximum number of shares to find out. This is the problem is with test, with the three tests, no? So let me begin with working notes. Shares outstanding test. Last class I've given detailed information to understand it. Now I am trying to simplify it, how you can quickly do it. Shares outstanding test. That is for you to understand it better. I've written. Like once concept is clear to you, you can do. Shares outstanding test. Number of shares outstanding first. Number of shares outstanding okay. Number of shares outstanding is how you will be getting 330 crores by 10, no? So 330 by 10 means 33 crore shares. 33 crore shares of 10 each fully paid. So that is what I am doing here. Number of shares outstanding is equal to 10. Shares in crores 33. Okay, next. 25% of the shares outstanding is equal to, take 33 crores into 25%. We got 8.25 crores. $8.25 crores. This is working notes number 1, shares outstanding. Or I'll do one thing, I hide the heading. Next, resource test. Resource test. For resource test, I need first, you recollect yourself, here last class detailed information, just for you to quickly recap what, if anybody has not thorough with that, for you to understand. Here I am writing, I am showing this. The outstanding test for maximum number of shares bought back. Resource test also same. Debt equity ratio test also same. Outstanding test, maximum number of shares that can be bought back. Resource test. Resource test, I told you that 25% of paid up capital plus free reserves by buyback price per share. This is what I have told you, no? 25% of paid up capital plus free reserves by buyback price per share. Paid up capital plus free reserves, 25% of paid up capital plus free reserves by buyback price per share, then we will be getting maximum number of shares. The same thing I am doing here. I want resource test. For resource test, what is that I need? I need to have the information of shareholders funds. Okay, so what is that I am writing here? Paid up capital here we got that information. Paid up capital is 330 crores. Paid up capital is 330 crores. Then after that we are having free reserves. I think last class I have told you detailed information I have given. So I think in this way you can curtail it if you can understand it. Free reserves, I told you 3 reserves we are having. General reserve 240. Then we are having securities premium, $90, P&L account also 90 crores. P&L account also 90 crores. 240 plus 90 plus 90. It is going to get, you are going to get 420 crores. So 330 plus 420 will become shareholders funds. Is equal to 750 crores. If you see last class we had written 25% paid up capital plus free reserves, which is nothing but, now I am improvising, it is called as a shareholders funds also. Am I right? Paid up capital plus free reserves is equal to shareholders funds. 750 crores. Next, 25% of shareholders funds. Last class actually I have given like a formula. Paid up capital plus free reserves by buyback of shares, buyback price per share. In that way also we can do it. Or I am also just simply I am telling the other way around. You can do in that way also. 25% of shareholders funds by, what is that last class I have explained, buyback price per share. So first, buyback price per share is equal to 25 rupees plus, I told you, what was the premium given? 20% above the market value. Which is coming to 30 rupees. Okay, so here 25% of 750 by 30. That is equal to 750 into 25%. You are getting 187.5. 187.5 by 30. You are getting 6.25 crores shares. This is resource test. This is shares outstanding test. In all these cases, shares outstanding test, maximum number of shares under shares outstanding test. Under resource test, maximum number of shares outstanding. Clear? Next, we'll move on to the next point. Now I should go for the third important point is debt equity test. So debt equity test, my dear friends, I am going by alternative way. You feel comfortable in doing it. You can also see simultaneous equation method also you can do the way I have explained, and also I think this problem is also there more or less same in study material also. If anybody wants to have a further reference, you can see to the study material also. Debt equity ratio test. Debt equity ratio test. So debt equity ratio test without equation, simultaneous equation I am doing. So now this is important. Debt equity ratio test, I need loan fund, no? That is what I am writing here. When loan fund is, we are having three situations. When loan fund is already loan fund here, it has been given as 1800 crores. Is also assuming asking us to go for when loan fund is 1200 crores and loan fund is 1500 crores. What is the maximum number of shares that we can go for it? So here I am writing when loan fund is 800 crores. $1,800, 1,200, 1,500 crores. Okay. This is what we are working out the problem. And loan fund is, now, last class we have learned last class alternative way I have explained, amount of loan funds. Clear? $1,800 crores, 1,200 crores, 1,500 crores. I told you to copy down this topic. If you got the notes with you, I think this you can, without listening to it also you can try. Only thing is the loan funds we are having just 3 situations, that's it. Next, B. Minimum equity to be maintained. Minimum equity to be maintained after buy back is equal to, I told you, A by 2, means loan funds by 2, because equity is loan funds is 2 times of equity, or equity is half of loan funds, you can say. 1,800 crores by 2, 900 crores. 1,200 by 2, 600. 1,500 by 2, 750. This I have explained you already. Then C. This is what we have done there last class. Present shareholders funds. Equity shares, I mean to say. We got already, we have worked out here. Shareholders funds, paid up capital, how much we got? 750, no? 750 crores. 750 crores. 750 crores. Okay. Next, D. Last class I have told you, maximum permitted dilution. C minus B I told you last class. C minus B. Present shareholders funds minus minimum equity to be maintained. C minus B means 750 minus 900, negative. That means maximum permitted dilution means when present shareholders funds is minimum funds to be maintained after buyback. Present shareholders funds equity is less than this. This is not applicable. Please remember, whenever you simple words, whenever you are getting negative, maximum permitted dilution is not applicable. Present shareholders funds equity is less than minimum equity to be maintained. So that means minimum equity to be maintained after buyback is 900 crores and present shareholders is 750. Then if you go for buyback, this will be still more, still this will be less than still 900. Simple logic. Present shareholders fund equity 750 crores. Minimum equity to be maintained after buyback is 900. If out of 750, if you go for suppose buyback, what will happen? It will further reduce. So that means you are not following the provisions of Companies Act. So therefore, maximum permitted limit is not applicable. I think here it is applicable. How? 750 crores present shareholders fund, 750 minimum equity to be maintained after buyback, 600 crores. That means if you it is more than minimum equity to be maintained after buyback. So what is permitted dilution here? 150 crores we can reduce. That means after buyback, you can go up to reduction in, I told you the reason, share capital or paid up capital or logic I have explained. Capital redemption reserve, and these two, if you take into consideration, even if you reduce, it will be 600 crores. It means the maximum permitted dilution is positive, simple words. When C is more than B, it is a positive. C is less than B, it is negative. Here equal. So here also not applicable. Why it is not applicable? I will be giving a note later on. Now we got the values now here. Now I think the last class a simple statement I have given. Suppose number of shares bought back is same logic I am using. Suppose number of shares bought back is X. Reduction in share capital brackets nominal value, you know that 10 rupees. 10 into X means number of shares bought back. I am writing 10X. And then premium on buyback. Last problem it was 20 rupees is the value of shares. Last class we have seen last problem 20 rupees was the offer price for buyback, whereas nominal value 20. Now in this problem we have seen 30 rupees, no? Buyback per share 30 rupees. So 30 rupees is the offer price for buyback, whereas the nominal value is how much? 10 rupees. So 30 minus 20, 10. 20 rupees loss you are getting. 20. The reason is that premium on buyback is a loss because you are paying more than nominal value. In that context, 20 rupees is a loss. That loss is to be adjusted from security premium, you know. And you also know that to the extent of nominal value of shares bought back, you also should transfer to CRR, no? Transfer to CRR. Transfer to CRR here since no fresh issue. Is 10x. So now total reduction in equity. Therefore, value of X is equal to maximum permitted dilution by offer price of buyback. Not offer back, sorry. Total reduction, sorry. Total reduction in equity. That is equal to, what is maximum? Only it is applicable for only B, no? Where your investment is, a loan fund is 1200 crores. It is not applicable for A and B. So maximum permit dilution is how much? 150 crores. 150 crores by 40. That is 150 by 150. It is going to be 3.75 crores shares. This is what we are aiming at. Last class I have told you. So now we got 375 crores. So this 375 crore shares is as per debt equity ratio test. Okay. $3.75 crores debt equity ratio test. 6.25 crores is which one? Resource test. 8.25 crores. I think it is clear to all of you that 3.75 crores is the least of the three tests. Okay. And as I told you, for this you also can, just for tutorial note I am giving, don't write in the examination. Simultaneous equation method to ascertain maximum number of shares. Under debt equity ratio test. Whatever the methodology I have explained, that you can follow, or if anybody is having still the doubt, you can refer to the study material. Same problem is there in the study material. Okay. Now so we got 3.75 crores. That's clear. 3.75 crore shares. So just I told you here, not applicable, some star mark I have mentioned, that I am going to explain. For situation 1 and 2, 1 and 3, no? Yeah. Sorry, for situation 1 first. Let me start with situation 1. Why I am starting with situation 1 is that in situation 1, present shareholders fund is less than minimum equity to be maintained. So that means when present shareholders fund is less than equity means how can you maintain 900 in future? So therefore maximum permitted dilution is not applicable. Here it is equal, so it is not applicable. That is what I am writing. For situation 1, present equity for situation 1, present equity shareholders funds is less than minimum equity and in situation 3 in situation 3 it is equal to minimum equity. That is, present equity share fund is equal to minimum equity. Therefore, maximum permitted dilution is not applicable for situation 1, maximum dilution is not applicable for situation 1 and situation 3. Okay. Hence, maximum number of shares can't be applicable for 1 and 3 situations. Now let us go for solution. What the solution is asking actually? What is the question is asking actually? Sorry. The question which is asking, you are required to compute the maximum number of shares that can be bought back in the light of above information, and also under situation where the loan of funds of company were either 1200 crores, 1500 crores, assuming that entire buyback is completed. Show the accounting entries in the company's books in each situation. So for that, now we will be starting the solution. Yeah, that is solution only, working notes completed. Now the problem. So statement determining the maximum number of shares to be bought back. Statement determining the maximum number of shares to be bought back. We need to write that maximum number of shares under outstanding test, resource test, and debt equity ratio test. Those three we will be writing the way we have done in the last class. Particulars, and here when loan fund is $1,200 crores, it is 1,500. Okay. First, shares outstanding test. See, the difference is only for loan for debt. Let me write. The first one is shares outstanding test. Second one, resource test. Third one, debt equity ratio test. debt equity ratio test. Now here I am writing number of shares. We are talking about, this is when loan fund is in 1800 crores, 1200 crores, but here maximum number of shares to be bought back. So shares outstanding test, we went by working notes number 1, working notes number 2, working notes number 3. My dear friends, only debt equity ratio test, it values changes. But 1 and 2, maybe 1800 crores loan, or loan fund is 1200 crores, or loan fund is 1500 crores. It doesn't affect your shares outstanding test or resource test. I think you are able to understand this. See, debt equity ratio test, which is important, loan fund. For shares outstanding test, resource test is not important. So be it 1800 crores, be it 1200 crores, be it 1500 crores, it doesn't affect outstanding test, and we need not do outstanding test for 3 things. Only in case of debt equity ratio test we have done, because basing upon the loan fund, which will change, maximum number of shares will change. I think you can see first test 8.25 crores, second test 6.25 crores, and third test is in fact is applicable only for second situation. Here also one more note we can write. 3.75 crore shares for situation 2 only. If you want, this can be called as situation 1. This is situation 2. This is situation 3. Okay, situation 1, 2, 3. So come on, here we got 8.25 crores, 8.25 crores. Common, I told you reason. For shares outstanding test, we have nothing to do with loan fund. Resource test is also same. We got 6.25 crores, 6.25 crores shares, 6.25 crores shares. Shares in crores. Shares in crores, shares in crores. Debt equity ratio test, I told you. Here we got nil, no value. Here just now we got 3.75 crores applicable for situation 2. Again, this can be taken as situation 1, 2, 3. We got 3.75 crores. Clear to all of you? I think I have given very detailed information. 3.75 crores applicable for 3.75 crores shares applicable for a situation 2. Here nil. Next, maximum number of shares that can be bought back is least of the above. And one more thing I told you, all 3 tests has to be satisfied. Even if one test is not satisfied, no result, then we cannot go for buyback of shares when loan fund is 1800 crores. You cannot go back for buyback of shares when loan fund is 1500 crores. In this case, only situation 2, when loan fund is 1200 crores, all 3 test results we are having. If any one test result is missing, please try to understand, when any one test, this I have given clearly, all test results has been passed. If any one test result is missing, then it's like you are not fulfilling the provisions of the Companies Act. Then in such case, what will happen, sir? No question of buyback of shares. That's it. So maximum number of shares that can be bought back. That is why in the last problem, Yes, then you write entry. Yes means yes, when all the conditions have been fulfilled, yes, company can go for buyback of shares. You remember the last problem, second problem. So it is going to be list of the following three is list of the above. 3.75 crores. List of the following. That's it. Now you write entry only for these things, the journal entries. Journal entries for buyback applicable only when loan fund is 1200 crore rupees. Okay, 1200 crores. I told you reason also, I've explained number of times. Now we can write three entries again. You will be getting as usual. First entry A, you know that equity share buyback account debtor, equity share buyback account debtor to bank account, to bank account. So sir, how we will be getting, sir? 3.75 crores into 30 rupees, no? Here rupees in crores. This is debit, this is credit. Okay. Equity share buyback account debtor 3.75 crores into 30. I have explained 25 rupees at plus 20% premium. Market on market value 20% premium you are paying. So buyback offer price per share is 30 rupees. That 30 rupees you are paying. 3.75 into 30. It is coming to 112.5 crores. 112.5 crores. Being buyback of 3.75 crores equity shares of rupees 10 each at the rate of 30 rupees per share. At the rate of 30 rupees per share. Next B. Equity share capital account debtor equity share capital account debtor, now nominal value, no? Equity share cancellation of buyback is nothing but cancellation. Cancellation is always it to be at nominal value. 3.75 crores into that 10 rupees. 37.5 crores. And I told you excess amount or nominal value is a loss, no? That is to be adjusted to security premium. Security premium account debtor What is that, sir? 3.75 crores into 20, excess payment. 3.75. I think you will be able to understand it. If you got any, you can make a note on your own. 75 crores to equity share buyback. To equity share buyback, 112.5 crores. Narration being the entry for cancellation. Being the entry for cancellation of shares bought back. Okay, last entry. Nominal value of shares bought back is to be transferred to capital, to free reserves. In this case, general reserve. Last class revenue reserve has been given, general reserve. We can adjust from general reserve. So what is the nominal value of shares bought back? 37.5 crores. See, general reserve account debtor general reserve account debtor to capital redemption reserve. General reserve account debtor to capital redemption reserve account. 37.5 crores. Being transfer of free reserves. Being transfer of free reserves to CRR to the extent of nominal value. Shares bought back. Being transfer of free reserves to CRR to the extent of nominal value of shares bought back. 37.5 crores. I think this will give you clarity of thought, and you are good. I hope you got clarity of thought when how to go for buyback of shares applying 3 tests. Please see, everything has been given. If it is on the screen or a mobile phone or whatever it may be, very difficult for you to go back. And I think you told me when I was asking a question in the beginning of this maybe commencement of classes for group 2 live classes, you told me that you have been maintaining the notes. So it's good. I hope you will be maintaining notes for all chapters which I am covering through recorded lectures. So this is about journal entries for buyback. Okay, my dear friends. So then actually in this particular model, we got when important problems from study material, bit different. It is without 3 tests. If you want, you can make a note without 3 tests. Let me read this. D Limited, a non-listed company, furnished the following balance sheet: share capital, reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus, you need to search the information. Property, plant and equipment, non-current investments, inventories, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalents, share capital. Reserves and is consisting of capital reserve, revenue reserve, security premium, P&L account. These 3 will be taken as free reserves. And now the important point in this case, 2000, generally this we overlook. If you overlook, entire problem goes wrong. 2000 10% preference shares of 100 each issued 2 months back for the purpose of buyback. So now I think you know proceeds of fresh issue also we are having in this problem. I've told you we shall transfer. I think in the two classes back I've given, amount to be transferred to CRR is equal to nominal value of bought back, I have told you. Where you are going for proceeds of fresh issue, amount to be transferred to CRR is equal to, I've given you, recollect that. Amount to be transferred to CRR is equal to nominal value of shares bought back minus nominal value of fresh issue is equal to amount to be transferred to CRR. This is what I have told you. So now in this problem, I think these two are important. The company passed a resolution to buy back 20% of its equity capital at the rate of 50 rupees per share. For this purpose, it sold all its investment. Sale of investment is for providing the funds. Now, the source for buyback is 3 points I have told you. Source is different, funds is different. Funds is for making the payment. The source is that to satisfy the legal requirement. The same logic you have learned for redemption of preference shares. Section 55 legal provisions is different, funds is different. If you got the recording lecture, you can listen to that. And sometimes you may get a question where we will be having redemption of preference shares plus and also what is called as redemption of preference shares, bonus shares, buyback. It's a mixture combination of a problem, including ESOP also. So that one model, I think I'm having that we can take later on, but after completion of ESOP, but employee stock option plan, I mean to say. So now in this case, there's no, because he has simply mentioned company passed a resolution to buy back 20% of its equity capital, says. For this purpose, it sold all of its investment. You are required to pass. So no information where it is within the what is it called as provisions of Companies Act. So we assume that since passed a resolution to buy back 20% of its equity capital, we assume that they are satisfied the conditions for buyback as per Companies Act. That's it. So 20% of equity share capital means, here you can see what is equity share capital, 2500. 2500 by what is the face value of share? 10 rupees. No, by 10, 250. 250 into 20 rupees. So here I think it is in thousands has been given. No, 50,000 shares, 50,000 equity shares they are going to buy. You can see the entry. This is the entry for sale of investment. I think one of the previous problems you have done, bank account at our P&L account loss you are getting. For this purpose, it sold investment. What is the value of investment? You can see investments 3,000. 3,000 has been sold for 22,000. No, 22 lakhs. No, 3,000 means 3,000 in thousands means it is 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs has been sold for 22 lakhs. So you are getting a loss of 800,000. Or 8 lakhs you are getting a loss. This entry you all are aware of. Then equity share buyback. I told you equity share buyback means 50,000 shares. 50 rupees means 50,000 shares into what is the value here? What is the offer price? 50 rupees. 50,000 into 50. You can take the calculator or 50 into 50. 2,500 is nothing but 25 lakhs worth of shares purchase. So what is the face value, sir? 10 rupees. So 50 into 10, 500. Balance is premium payable. This also you can do. And then he has given one more extra entry, premium payable on buyback. Generally, we are not writing entry. This instead of writing premium payable on buyback, we are debiting which account? Security premium. Instead of writing one more entry, directly we are writing security premium account. If you want to write one more entry, even we have seen that here, just a minute, I'll show you. The entry here we have written equity share capital, security premium to equity share buyback. What they have written one more entry, premium on buyback. Then that premium on buyback they are transferring to security premium. We have written one entry, they have given two entries. No need to worry about it. Either you can go by one entry or you can go by two entries. So this premium got cancelled. The entry will be equity share capital, security premium account at R2, equity share buyback. Now the question is, what is the nominal value of shares buyback? 500. But they are transferring amount to CRR 300. No, the reason is here you can see in notes to account has been given 200,000 preference shares have been purchased for the purpose of buyback. So for this third problem, I'm giving note here. Third problem, remaining things you can go through that. Amount to be transferred to CRR is equal to nominal value of shares bought back nominal value of fresh issue. You recollect yourself. Nominal value of redeemable preference share capital minus nominal value of fresh issue is equal to amount to be transferred to CRR. We have learned in redemption of preference shares. Nominal value of shares bought back minus nominal value of fresh issue. Nominal value of fresh issue is about issue of new preference shares for shares per buyback. You can see issue 2 months back for the purpose of buyback 200. Therefore, amount to be transferred to CRR. This is important model. Watch out. After completion of this chapter, you can practice all the problems from study material. So 300,000. This is what has been mentioned here. Entry has been written. From the way they have used revenue reserve. In reserves and surplus, you are having revenue reserve. From this they have used. They can also use from security premium and P&L account. Generally, security premium they are using for premium payable on buyback. They are adjusting from security premium. So revenue reserve to capital redemption reserve. I think balance sheet you all can do it. Okay, my dear friends. For notes to accounts, etc. You can do it. So there is no change in the preference share capital. Only which is changing? Equity share capital. Earlier it was given as you are having notes to account 2 times. This is one is for source problem. The one more notes to account is after buyback for doing the solution. So from 2500 you purchased nominal value of 500 equity shares for buyback. No, so 2500 minus 500 you are getting 2000. That's it. I think here mistake is there, not 2,50,000. It has to be 2 lakhs equity shares. I think here small mistake, make a correction. After buyback, it is not 2,50,000, no, it has to be 2 lakhs. So 2 lakh equity share 10 is correct. This is correct. Second is correct. And you know CRR, how to adjust all those things. Okay, remaining problems you can work out. Now coming back to our charms material. Coming back to charms material. First problem I have given as a homework. Second problem has been completed last class. Third has been completed. Fourth is we'll be discussing now today's class. And this November 12th problem, I think this you can work out old problem. Cancellation of debentures. I think that you can easily see this. You can work out. This I am leaving as a homework to you. November 12. There is nothing major in that. Company redeemed preference shares, cancellation of debentures, redemption of preference shares, and debentures part you learned in group 1. And this is about earlier debentures topic was in group 2, that is why they have mixed it. So redemption of preference shares. I think this is all your basic knowledge. This you can work out. For the time being, we got one problem that these things I will be covering in one problem. Later on, we'll including these two. This you can do after completion of that, or you can try on your own. So there is nothing to worry about it. Extra limited company preference shares. This is what problem I'm telling you, that I'll be taking employee stock option. This problem I'll be working out. This model we can work out after ESOP. Okay. So this is just like the problem which we have done, loan funds. So this is homework. Today we have done. When loan funds is 3,200, loan funds 6,000. Okay. And this is statutory reserve, can't be used for, like the problem we got previously, infrastructure development reserve, that we can't consider as that is as per income tax rules, means statutory reserve. That can't be taken as free reserve. That we have already worked out. I think this is homework. Today's problem model. This you can work out. This I think I have already completed this problem. As a first problem I have completed, and also this one also I have completed. This also I have completed. This also we have completed 2 classes back. This November 19 is simple, same 35,000. Buy is fully authorized. Payment for buyback shares will be made. Sufficient. Comply, comment with calculation whether buyback of share company within the provisions. So simultaneous equation method with the 3 tests you should do. So this is homework. Only one problem model I need to explain. That is, we are having employee stock option plan. That model is also we are having in study material that we work out later on. Okay, now coming back to one theory topic. After explaining theory part, I'll come back to that is equity shares with differential rights. This is theory. You can refer to study material. I will be orally explaining this. Maybe in law also might have got it, but having said, because since it is given in the accounting syllabus, just I am explaining equity shares with differential rights. At present, we are having 2 types of share capital. Two kinds of share capital. Equity and preference. This equity shares, share capital or equity shares are with voting rights. Here it is without, with, sorry, with, not without, with differential rights. As to dividend, and voting. Okay, that is what we will be discussing today first. So, when you are looking at the theory part of it, section 43 of Companies Amendment 2013 Act allows company to issue equity shares with differential rights as to dividend, voting, or otherwise in accordance with such rules as may be prescribed. We you learned in foundation, we know that the share capital is of two types, equity and preference. If you look at the preference shareholders are having priority over payment to equity shareholders in terms of dividend and repayment of capital in case of winding up, you learned. And they also having fixed rate of dividend, having priority over equity shareholders. But section 43A of Companies Act 2013 defines equity share capital includes two types. This is what I have given here. With the voting rights, with the differential rights as to dividend and voting. Voting or otherwise in accordance with such rules as may be prescribed. Hence, the differentiation can be done by giving, the differentiation means for equity shareholders, those are having with differential rights. Differential rights is simple words, difference as to dividend. What difference, sir? They may be these kind of category of class of equity shareholders may get superior dividend when compared to others. And also they may have superior voting right, or they may be having diluted voting right for particular class of equity shareholders. So it must be appreciated that for preference shares are not issued with a differential right. It is only the equity shares which are issued. So you can issue equity shares with a differential rights. So according to the provisions of the Companies Act. Now, sir, when you look at the voting rights, sir, what is voting rights? Section 2 subsection 93 of defines voting right as a right of a member of a company to vote in any meeting of the company or by means of a postal ballot. Generally, equity shareholders voting right, they have a general voting right, but preference shareholders are having restrictive voting right. Please try to understand. Preference shareholders are having restrictive voting right. What is restrictive voting right? We see. Normally, what happens, the blanket rule in Companies Act is one share, one vote. If you got one share, one vote. This gives equal voting right to every shareholder. This is a fair democracy process. I think you and me, everybody has to agree. But however, sometimes a segment of shareholders, normally promoters or executives or management, may like to have more control over decision making process. The intention of these people, or you can say shareholders or say management, can be activated if they have more voting rights, even if they hold fewer shares, because for getting any resolution approved, you need to have more votes polled for a particular resolution. No, that is why they want more voting rights, even if they hold fewer shares, a few shares. This can be structured by giving them shares with superior voting rights. This is enabled with section 43A subsection 2 in the form of equity shares with a differential right. That is the objective of this particular chapter. Preference shareholders however, preference shareholders are having restrictive voting right. Normally, preference shareholders have superior financial right because they can get dividend prior to equity shareholders, no? But less management control rights. They have restrictive right to vote only on resolution placed before the company. They have restricted right to vote only on resolution placed before the company. What are those resolutions, sir? Which directly affect the rights attached to preference shares. Any resolution is affecting the rights of preference shareholders, they can go for voting. Similarly, if there is any resolution for winding up of a company, also they are having the voting right, but they are having restrictive only. Restrictive means special cases only they are having that, and for the repayment of amount to them, they are having in case of redemption, and also reduction of its equity. Reduction of its equity capital or preference share capital, like you see in internal reconstruction, etc. Then they will be having restrictive voting right when you are passing a resolution. But note, when dividend in respect of a class of preference shares has not been paid a period of 2 years or more, dividend has not been paid for a period of 2 years or more, such a class of preference shares shall have a right to vote on all the resolutions, placed before the company. See, if they are not getting dividend for 2 years or more, they are having the right to vote. And then the important point, last point I wish to tell you that is that we got after completion of this, we have discussed about what kind of differential rights they are having when compared to this one. Differential right, equity shares. Share capital and debenture rules 2016 says that it deals with the equity shares with differential rights. What it says, when a company can go for issue of shares with differential rights. Articles of association authorizing the issue of shares with differential rights. Point number 1. Just theory part you remember. Point number 2. The issue of such shares is authorized by an ordinary resolution. Okay. The shares with the differentials shall not exceed 20% of the post issue paid up capital. After issue of differential rights, the shares with differential rights shall not be more than 20% of post issue capital. Company having consisting track record of distributable profit for last 3 years, they are able to distribute dividend, then yes, the company can go for issue of shares with differential rights. The company has not defaulted in filing financial statement and annual returns for 3 financial years immediately preceding the financial year in which it decided to issue such shares. Suppose this year I am issuing shares. In the preceding 3 years, I might have filed returns, financial statement, annual returns. So then such company can issue shares with a differential right. The company has no subsisting default in payment of declared dividend, or repayment of mature deposits, or redemption of preference shares or debentures. When such payments have become due, there is no failure by the company. Such kind of company can issue shares with differential rights. In a simplified manner, the entire stuff just I am giving to you. The company has not defaulted in payment of dividend of preference shares. Dividend also has been regularly properly paid. Then the company has not been penalized in the last 3 years by court or tribunal or SEBI, or even some companies, they are coming under the purview of Reserve Bank of India. We have seen non-banking financial companies, whatever it may be. Such there is no penalization for violation of rules by SEBI or tribunal or court or RBI or any other agency, or FIMA, foreign exchange regulations, etc. So I think these kind of things you should remember, that such companies cannot issue. If there is no penalization, I think they can go for issue of equity shares with differential voting rights. Okay. From where I have explained all those things, I'll tell you. Simplified manner I have explained this. All models problems I have covered, my dear friends. Two kinds of equity with differential rights. Preference share capital. Voting rights, these things I have explained. Restrictive voting rights. And also I have explained few points here. Foreign Exchange Management Act, FIMA, it is called as Foreign Exchange Management. Titles have been changed with Foreign Exchange Management Act 99 or any other special act. As I told you, any offence under Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, So company has not been penalized. These things simplified manner I've explained. Now we are having one problem on this. See, relative weight of equity and preference share capital when they are entitled to vote. It is further provided that proportion of the voting rights of equity shareholder to the voting rights of the preference shareholders shall be in the same proportion as the paid up capital in respect of equity shares bears to paid up capital in respect of preference shares, that we will discuss now. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? The relative weight of equity and preference share capital when entitled to vote. It is further provided that proportion of the voting rights of equity shareholders to the voting rights of preference shares shall be in the same proportion as the paid up capital in respect of equity shares, based to paid up capital in respect of preference shares. An example has been given. You can expect a short question on this. Equity capital is held by X, Y, and Z is in the proportion of 40:40:20. There are three equity capitals he has taken, held by X. For explanation he has given, and ABC hold preference share capital in the proportion of 50:30:20. If the paid up equity share capital of the company is 1 crore, preference share capital 50 lakhs. It means here equity share capital is twice of preference share capital. Is in simple words 50 lakhs into 2 is 1 crore, no? That is has been mentioned. Then relative weight in the voting right of equity shareholders and preference shareholders according to their paid up capital is 2/3, 1/3. How you got 2/3, 1/3? 50 lakhs if equity share capital is 2 times of preference share capital in this is nothing but 2:1. Preference share capital is 1 time, equity share capital 2 times. That means 150 crores, 1 crore 50 lakhs, 2/3 belongs to proportion is to proportionate paid up capital of equity shareholders 2/3 and preference shareholders 1/3. So what they have done, the equity capital held by XYZ 40:40:20, to find out the respective voting rights, what they have done, 2/3 of X share. What is X share here? 40/100. 2/3 of 40/100, 4/15. Why 2/3 of 40/100, 4/15? You can see 2/3. This is proportion. 2/3 of 20/100 is for equity share capital voting right. 4/15, 4/15, 2/15. A 50 lakhs. 50 lakhs. No, 50 lakhs 1 crore. I told you 2:1. What is the A's capital, B's capital, C's capital? Proportion in preference share capital 50:30:20. What is the paid up capital in proportion to equity capital preference shareholders? 1/3. 1/3 into 50/100, 50 plus 30 plus 20. 1/3 into 30/100, 1/10. 1/3 into 20/100, 2/30. You got it. Okay. Now hence the relative weights are 4/15, 4/15, 2/15, 1/6. 1/10, 2/30, or if you want to make the denominators equal, it is 8:4:5:3:2. Now you can go for their voting shares. X is 26.67%, Y 26.67%, Z 13.33%, A 16.67%, B 10%, and C 6.67%. You can see that percentages. And finally you are getting it is equal to 100. That means voting power of X is 26 point. This is equity shareholders with differential is the voting right of the shareholders is according to their proportionate paid up capital. This is what you should do. Simple words, you take the ratio given multiplied with the equity shares held by the members here, their ratio. Similarly, preference shares held by their members. Okay. I think you got the clarity of thought how you got these percentages. 8:8:4:5:3 means 8/30. 8/30 into 100, 26 point. If you want, you can see 8/30 into 100. 26.67%. Their voting power basing upon their shares, no? basing upon their proportion of shares. Since X and Y are having same shares, their voting right is 26.67, 26.67, where Z voting is 13.33%. Okay, this is example of relative weight of equity. You can expect this kind of problem. I think I want to give you same model given in the material, our CHAMS material. Fourth problem, W, X, Y and Z hold equity share capital in proportion of 40 is to 30 is to 10 is to 20. A, B, C, D hold preference share capital proportion of 30 is to 40 is to 20 is to 10. If the paid up capital of the company is 40 lakhs and preference share capital 20, find their voting rights in case of resolution of winding up of the company. 40 lakhs and 20 lakhs means 2 times, no, 2 is to 1 again. It is there in the same way, the way we have done, the same approach you should go. So it is there in the, as a last problem in the practice manual, practice questions. This one, same. You can see the solution also. See, 40 lakhs, 20 lakhs is nothing but 2 is to 1, no? 2 times equity share cap, 2 times a preference share capital. So I told you, you take the proportion 40 by 100. What is the ratio? 2 by 3. 2 by 3 into 40 by 100. 2 by 3 into 40 by 100. 2 by 3 into 10 by, like that. 1/3 of 30 by 100, 40 by 100, 20 by 100, 10 by 100. That's it. This is your answer. What is the voting share for winding up of the company? I told you preference shareholders are having voting rights in case it's not restricted. In case winding up of the company, I've already explained that in today's class notes, discussion, oral discussion. I told you I have not given notes. In fact, it is there in the your ICS study material. I told you when preference shareholders are not having any restrictive, they have restrictive right to vote only on resolution placed before the company. Any resolution for winding up of a company, I told you. But they don't have any restrictive right when the company is not paying dividends. So restrictive voting right, 4 points I told you, and directly affect the rights of it is affecting to preference shares. Any resolution for winding up, they are having restrictive right. That restrictive right, in what percentage they are having the rights, that has been mentioned. I think preference shareholders are having 1 by 10, 2 by 15, 1 by 15, 1 by 30. The same way the percentage you can calculate the way we have calculated last time. So no need to calculate percentage. Even if you calculate percentage also, it is simple. What is the restrictive voting right? How they are having voting right? What is the percentage of voting right for preference shareholders? What is the percentage of voting right for equity shareholders has been discussed. But when preference shareholders have not been paid dividend for more than 2 years, they are having voting right on all the resolution placed before the company. This also I have explained. Then this restrictive voting right has been removed. That's it. When they can vote on all resolution, restrictive voting right has been removed. Okay. So company, the theory part also has been covered to the extent which is needed. So with this, I am winding up the buying back of shares, and I think we left out with the ESOP that we can start in the next class, right? So we'll meet in the next class. Till then, goodbye. God bless you all. And only one request to all of you is that please work out the homework that has been given, and the theory part just now explained is a detailed way it is there. You can condense it, you can simplify it just from the examination point of view. Suddenly theory question comes in the examination, I think you should be able to write something on that. Okay, so keep on practicing. I hope this chapter is easy for you to work out. You can easily score marks from this topic. 10 marks maximum you can expect. Okay, we'll, or maybe sometimes a short question you can expect, we can't say, but few papers, if you see even in the material has been given, 10 marks also possibility, right? We'll meet in the next class. Till then, goodbye. God bless you all. Thank you.